Hi, I'm Shaking Gaming, and this will be an in-depth review of Zerra, all about her. First up, where can you find her? She's currently in the season quest, running for a month, so dig in there to find her if you want her. If we start by looking at her stats, she has a very high physical damage. Well, not that high here, but if you compare it to her skills, she has an A rating in single target abilities and an A rating in biggest AoE hits. So very strong damage dealer. She has, on the health side, a calculated expected health pool, estimated health pool of around a C on a scale from A to F. So just slightly above average. If we look at the secondary stats, her speed is 150, which places her at B. Her potency is very low, E rating. Tenacity, even worse, an F. And lifesteal is an A rating. Now for her kit. At max level, her basic ability does 320% physical damage to an enemy, with a 70% chance to gain a damage increase for 2 turns. Her second ability, Vortex of Pain, deals 300% physical damage to all enemies, with a 60% chance to inflict healing block for 2 turns. If the target is bleeding, apply buff immunity for 2 turns. Her third ability, Crimson Claws, attacks the enemy 3 times. Each attack deals 230% physical damage. If attack hit a shield, apply an armor decrease for 2 turns. If all 3 attacks hit the target, apply ability block for 1 turn. Her passive ability increases her lifesteal by 25%, making her a lot more tanky than her estimated health pool shows. And if she dodges an attack, she recovers 20% of her turn meter. Also gives this to Rantha if she's on the battlefield. The strongest about Zerra might be her leadership ability, even though it's been nerfed since the initial patch notes came out. She increases the potency and max health of all allied orcs by 20%. And then at battle start, all enemies receive tenacity decrease, armor decrease, damage decrease, and buff immunity for 1 turn. The major difference here from the initial patch notes was 2 turns before, now 1 turn. This is a major nerf, but it's still a strong leader ability. If we look at where she places faction and character synergy wise, as you just heard, she synergizes with Rantha, otherwise she's just an orc. On the debuff side of things, she inflicts bleed and benefits from bleed, so definitely some synergies going on there, and you can expect to see her with several of these characters down here in the bottom right. Her speed was 150. Let's see where she ranks on the speed guide. She's at the same speed as Freesart and as the first 3 phases in the raid. Looking at the runes, she can go 2 ways. She is a very, very high damage dealer, one of the highest in the game, and thus it would be obvious to go for the usual damage dealing set, meaning damage and critical hit chance, with damage northwest, speed northeast, and critical damage south. But there's also the option to swap out the CC and put in potency instead to make her bleeds stick. I've chosen to go with the damage and CC set. So here I'll just try to find some mods, some runes for her before going into combat. Going for crit chance and speed. naturally speed on all of them, but we want some damage and crit chance as well. Here, want critical damage south, some speed. And just looking through options, this one is decent. That one's better, but depends on what can be on the other slots. I'm just putting it in for now and see what I have on the other spots. Potency is nice to land her debuffs. Damage is also nice. Going for damage first. And then we need a critical hit chance. And that's it. But her potency is only 18.5% after this. So I think I'm going to swap this for some potency instead. That helps a lot. 36% compared to 18, so we'll take the other rune instead. Brings up to 213 speed, bit lower damage, but she can land debuffs now. So let's take her into battle and see what happens. First, just a test run by herself on a random campaign node, just to see what happens. And to see her animations. But as you'll see, her animations aren't really something to write home about. She just jumps and swings, no matter what of her 3 abilities she uses. It's just the same. That was it, really. Now, let's move over to some proper fights. There's not a lot of teams to choose from in the tournament on the test server, but here's what I've got, and which I'm going to try at. This is sort of a mixed team with a lot of healing and debuff immunity from Hardork and the resurrection from Renara. Let's see if I can just nuke them down, because I went for the non-brainer build here with the synergies to Rantha, even though I think it's very weak. The bear does give some benefit, because the bear doesn't get debuffed by the other Zerra at the beginning. I really wanted Hardork down, even though he'll be rested by Renara, probably. But getting him down so the debuffs doesn't get dispelled every turn is massive. And of course I didn't land the ability block on Renara, otherwise it would have been GG already, but we'll have to take a bit longer before getting there. But really, this should hurt, yeah. So that was it. Pretty easy. Even with Renara resisting the ability block. taking this odd team to see what happens here, if I can beat that. Might be harder than the other one actually. Because now they're invisible, which hurt them a lot. And I'll probably lose Ramtha in a second. No good. So, this team you might have to look out for. Counters the standard Zerra orc build anyway. Of course you can make some different variations, and I'm not even sure Ramtha should be on this team, but that's a different matter. Might work out anyway, with a bit of luck. If Ma can crit, then a lot changes. Oops. Win. And here's another fight. But this time I'll try to make my own counter to the Zerra team. There wasn't any Solius teams at all that I could try against, so otherwise I would have shown Zerra versus Solius, but everyone has Zerra teams at the moment on the test server, so I'm going my own way here, trying something completely different. And it works surprisingly well. I'll just speed this up so you can see for yourself. And here's another version of it. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the video and you learned something that you can take with you in your future fights. Subscribe, like if you want. There's a link in the description for all the infographics I used throughout the video. Other than that, have a great day.